Welcome back to The Explainer. So, I am literally thrilled to have you here today because we're looking at an update that's going to fundamentally change your daily developer routine. We're breaking down the massive Claude Code 2.1.186 release. And the whole central theme of this explainer today? The frictionless workflow. This update is entirely built around optimizing your multi-agent setups, reducing the daily friction of coding, and making your terminal environment smoother than it's ever been before. Let's get right into it.
Here's our roadmap for the explainer. First, we'll meet version 2.1.186. Then, we'll look at frictionless MCP authentication, followed by bash and plugin enhancements. After that, we'll check out how background agents are getting upgraded, and finally, we'll wrap up with the workflow fixes and squashed bugs.
All right, Section 1. Meet Claude Code 2.1.186.
Listen, this isn't just some minor patch. It's a really substantial, targeted evolution of the command line interface designed specifically to streamline your daily tasks. And on top of the major feature shifts we're going to cover, I really want to emphasize this number right here, 20. This release brings over 20 specific, targeted bug fixes to the table. That means underneath all the shiny new features, your local development environment is going to feel incredibly stable. They're laying a really rock-solid foundation here.
Section 2. Frictionless MCP authentication.
Okay, let's dive into this, because if you use Model Context Protocol servers frequently, you are going to absolutely love this. It solves a major pain point. Think about the old way. Authenticating an MCP server meant pulling up that interactive, kind of tedious /MCP menu, right? It just completely broke your flow. But the new way? It is lightning fast. You just drop Claude MCP login, followed by your server name, directly into the terminal. And if you need to log out, just run Claude MCP logout. It keeps your hands on the keyboard and your head in the code.
And honestly, this right here just illustrates how well they understand developer environments. The new -- no browser flag is an absolute lifesaver. Look, if you're working in a headless environment or tunneling in over SSH, you don't have a local browser to just pop open for authentication. So this flag redirects the entire auth flow right through standard input. It's totally essential for remote development.
Oh, and you know when you're typing way too fast and you just slightly misspell a server name when trying to get or remove it? Well, now Claude GenP get and remove are actually smart. If you mistype a server name, the CLI won't just throw some generic error at you. It actually looks at your configured list and suggests the closest match. It's such a tiny detail, but it saves so much frustration.
Moving on to Section 3, Bash and Plugin Enhancements. Let's look at how Claude handles your shell commands and organizes its capabilities now, because the flexibility here is fantastic. First up, YAML front matter. When you're configuring skills, you don't have to stress about remembering exactly which casing to use anymore. Claude natively accepts kebab case, snake_case, or camel case for keys. Easy. Also, when you run a bang bash command, Claude now automatically responds to the output, making the shell much more conversational. But hey, if you prefer the old way where Claude just stayed silent and absorbed the context, no worries. Just pop into your settings JSON and set respond to bash commands to false.
Plus, if you open the /plugin installed tab, you're going to see a dedicated skills section. It is so much cleaner. And actually, this is huge. They made YAML loading incredibly resilient. In the past, if you had malformed YAML in your sk.md file, it would just fail silently. You'd be left guessing what went wrong. Now, Claude Code intelligently catches the error and loads the skill body with empty metadata instead. It keeps your workflow moving.
Section 4. Upgrading background agents. So, multi-agent sessions are incredibly powerful, right? But they need to be good citizens in your terminal. I want you to think about this question. What actually happens when sub-agents fail? In older versions, you probably remember the friction of an agent hitting an error, spinning into an infinite loop, or just automatically denying permission requests it couldn't handle. It blocked your progress and basically forced a restart. Well, that stops today. The magic number here is 15. The Claude Code max retries environment variable is now strictly capped at 15. This hard limit completely prevents those runaway infinite loops. And if you're running really long unattended sessions overnight, you're now advised to use the Claude Code retry watchdog instead, which ensures your resources aren't getting drained by a stuck agent while you sleep. Let's run through how these upgrades actually feel in practice. Unhandled background requests? They're gracefully routed straight to your main session now. You get a nice, clear dialog showing exactly which agent is asking for permission. If you don't like what it's trying to do, hitting the escape key denies just that single tool call. It doesn't nuke the entire agent.
Also, if an agent hits repeated schema validation failures, it just aborts after 5 attempts instead of looping forever. And finally, running /review on a pull request now perfectly matches the underlying engine of /code review, medium, total consistency.
Okay, Section 5, Workflow Fixes and Squashed Bugs. Let's fire through some of this final polish, focusing strictly on quality of life. You know those super annoying content block not found or JSON parse errors you'd get when your laptop woke up from sleep? Gone. Completely fixed. Next, subagent deny rules, like specifying an agent type, are now properly enforced for named subagent spawns. Visually, strike-through Markdown actually renders correctly now, instead of just showing you raw tildes. And for our power users, transparent usage costs for the session are now clearly visible right there if you're on an enterprise or team plan.
Really think about the impact of these micro-optimizations. 10 seconds saved on your MCP logging, dodging a 5-minute infinite loop with a subagent, avoiding a full restart just because your laptop went to sleep. Reducing this daily friction really compounds. It transforms not just your raw speed, but your entire coding experience. So ask yourself, how much time will these micro-optimizations save you over a year of coding?
And that wraps up our explanator on the frictionless workflow of Claude Code 2.1186. If you want to dive even deeper into absolutely everything Claude can do, definitely check out the complete manual at claudemaster.net or inspect the raw details over on the GitHub changelog. But seriously, if this single update can eliminate this much daily friction, imagine what your workflow is going to look like next month. Thank you so much for joining me. Keep building, and I will see you in the next explainer.